Hello, my name is Saundra Woods, and I'm a lot of things. I'm a mother, a wife, a black woman, a Christian, and American, and I'm also pro-life. And before you say, why is she pro-life, and stop listening, just hear me out. My mother and father were married for about 11 years before I came along. I'm their one and only child, but my father really didn't want a family, so he made an appointment for my mother with an illegal abortionist. This was 1958. On her way out the door to the appointment, my mother got scared and she figured she'd die, so she didn't do that. And I was born the following year, and within 2 years they were divorced. Now, my mother did the best she could. She sent me to private schools, gave me a good education, and what I didn't realize was that a child needs two parents, and she couldn't be a father to me. I didn't have a father figure, and I didn't really have a relationship with my father. And that caused me to look for something, acceptance and love, in all the wrong ways. And as a result, between the ages of 16 and 25, I had had 4 abortions. I couldn't disappoint my mother after all of her sacrifices. And the first pregnancy was in 1975, which was 2 years after Roe v. Wade. And the media had told women that it's just a clump of cells, no more significant than a tumor, a benign tumor or a cyst. Just get rid of it, get on with your life, and there'll be no after effects. Unbeknownst to me, just a short subway ride away in Manhattan was at that time the world's largest freestanding abortion clinic. And that's where I went 4 times. A year after my last abortion, I met and married a godly man. But it took having our 2 sons to make me feel like I was missing something, and they were missing something very vital. What I didn't realize at the time was that God's hand was guiding my life every step of the way, and I wound up becoming a follower of Jesus Christ a few months before my 40th birthday. When I first turned over my life to Christ, I had an aha moment when I realized God's word is true, and I was meditating on King David's words in Psalm 139. He knitted me together in my mother's womb. He knew me. He knew my grandmother before I was born, before she was born. And he knew those babies before I even knew they existed. We're made in God's image, and we have a touch of the divine. And when I became a Christian, I was so grateful for the provision of forgiveness that God allowed me to have, because I knew I had grieved God by taking the lives of those 4 children. They were gifts of life, with heartbeats, different DNA, fingerprints, possibly even a different blood type than my own. They had purpose. They were not a mistake. I also realized that there are emotional effects from having aborted babies. I volunteer at a local pregnancy resource center, and I talk to many women that are dealing with a type of post-traumatic stress syndrome because they've let their babies die. A womb is supposed to be a safe place, not a crime scene. Mothers are supposed to protect their children, not eradicate them. New York City has aborted more black babies than are being born. My grandmother told me that her great-grandfather was Denmark Vesey, a slave who in 1800 bought his freedom, and he orchestrated what would have become the largest slave revolt insurrection in history. But he was found out, and he was hanged in Charleston, South Carolina in 1822. I don't believe he or my other ancestors endured what they endured so that we could choose to annihilate our people. It grieves me that I've been part of the groundwork that has laid the foundation for that. When my husband and I started our family, I worried that the choices might affect the health of my firstborn. I am so grateful to the Lord that both of our sons are healthy and they're thriving and they're serving the Lord. And I thank God for that. And I also ask God to let me see how their lives will turn out and let me share in their lives for as long as possible. But as a mom, I still sometimes wonder who those first four were designed to have been.